In Zamfara State, the Zamfara State government has lamented what he described as the alarming number of ghost workers in the state civil service. Addressing this, the state head of service, HOS, Barrister Ahmad Liman, said that nobody can exactly say the number of civil servants in the state. He further stated that the ghost workers are mainly in the health and education sectors. According to him, a verification exercise is still ongoing. In a particular hospital, there were 22 health workers receiving salaries, but the verification revealed that only 2 health workers are genuine. The HOS lamented. The government official explained that the verification exercise will be concluded at the end of November 2024, after which a committee on salary will be constituted. The government said that the situation has become worrisome and perplexing. The HOS, who is also the chairman, steering committee on verification exercise, pointed out that the present administration in the states inherited some unsolved issues from the past governments. It was discovered that the implementation of the 2019 minimum wage of 30,000 naira was faulty. As soon as the verification and salary committees submit their reports, the state government will implement the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira. I would love to get your thoughts on this, sir.
Well, it's very, very unfortunate, and I will tell you straight, what the echo you are picking or signal that is coming from the Zamfara axis is a reflection of what is happening in the country. I can tell you for free, on the flip side, that a lot of Nigerians, it's only that, as I'm speaking to you, I have made up my mind to remain here. In my capacity as a notary public of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, I can confirm to you that Nigerians are leaving this country in droves. Particularly, if you listen carefully to that report, it's zero on medical health care. That's the health care sector. A lot of doctors are moving out of this country. I ask you a very simple question. Is this country worth dying for? Your straight answer will be no. Except you are not living in the reality of the time that we are in. Particularly this unfortunate, avoidable, imposed economic holocaust, which is as a result of bad policy. Of course, you see the Naira is going down the drain, becoming worthless. Then you think about how much a head worker can earn outside this space. Even in Africa. Then what's the need? And life is not even secured. So what are you talking about? Now, look at Zamfara. Talk about the issue of insecurity there. Then the head worker will come, and I can tell you for free, the investigation will confirm at the end of the day that most of these persons have moved abroad. Sure. That's it. And they are still receiving salary. They moved codely. That is the way it used to happen. They moved codely. Only those 2 that comes to report, these people are still collecting their salary. They still pay into their account. You know, based on the global principle of transaction, today you can be operating your account from any part of the world. You can operate your account in Nigeria from any part of the world. So their account will still be running. It's not that they are carrying out a kind of investigation that they are coming to this position. But the reality is what is happening. It will shock you to know that this government, this present government, that is not ready to talk about issues that touch on the lives of Nigerians. They are not careful about the issue of healthcare. They are careful about how to capture the judiciary. To turn the law instead of pursuing the cause of justice, but to use it as an instrument of suppression, repression, and, you know, what do you call it? Oppression.
Okay,
and that is quite sad. So you will see more at the end of this report. You will realize that far more, particularly, it is now very evident that the health sector is the worst hit in the disease. And it's very unfortunate. The government should be held accountable for that and nothing more.
Okay, you said the government should be held accountable for
Yes.
the reason why these civil servants, staffs get to leave the country and become ghost workers. But do you think it's a right thing to be a ghost worker and still receive your salary? You know you're not delivering the services you were paid for, and then you decide not to be present and render those services, but you still receive salary for it. Do you think it's actually the right step to take?
Now, there are several ways to it. You'll be surprised that most of these people are out on leave of absence as if they went for further study. There are people that could fall within that space. But I can also confirm to you that there are people that have actually moved, do you understand, permanently. And those within the sector are aware and they may be sharing the salary. Now, that falls and question the legal system. If the law is working. I was telling one of my colleagues a few days ago, I've been here for a while in Port Harcourt here. There used to be a time that if you ask somebody to cross the High Court complex premises in Port Harcourt here, that is from Station Road to Bank Road, they would rather walk through Nine Post and Central Bank instead of using the court premises. Because there used to be an aura. There are families you enter into that are neat. If you are not asked to sit down, you can't just sit down.
Yes.
The environment will command you
Yes.
and give you direction.
Okay.
There are some families that are disciplined. When you get in, you can feel that it's like a club environment. There is an environment within that space. So the same thing happened. I can tell you, that's my primary constituency. Right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
the law.
Yes, sir.
The law is failing here. The law is failing here. There's no rule of law here.
Okay, so are you saying...
So what I'm telling you is that if the law were to be working, people will be conscious. Because where rule of law works, nobody is above the law. People like Oyemadu will not be in prison here. But he was jailed in UK. Because I think it was Lord Denning who said it. That look, no matter how powerful you are, you heard of the story of Jeffrey Archer, who was writing this novel in the prison on issue of perjury. Perjury, just when you talk about perjury is lying under oath. You are aware of his dealing with, women of low esteem issue, scandal that happened. And several years on, the truth came out. And they told him, look, nobody is above the law here. No matter how highly placed you are, you must come down. And they brought him down. He went to prison. He stayed in prison and was writing, he said, this thing. Okay? So that's the way it is. But here, people can do anything. In course of our discussion here, based on the headline you mentioned,
Yes, sir.
when we talk about organ transplant, I'll talk about something that will shock you. That is how bad the state of the law is. When individuals are higher and greater than the law, that is, people live by instincts and they can manipulate the law and use the law for anything. If the law were working, for any individual to take any step, first thing you consider is, what is the legal implication of what I am doing? And once a person becomes aware that even if I'm in the UK, just a letter from my government can't amount to my being sacked, you'll be very careful. But here we are in the virtual state of lawlessness. There is a young man that a lot of Nigerians are so zealous about that they call Nigeria zoo. And I said, calling Nigeria a zoo is an understatement, because in a proper zoo, things are ordered. Things are in order in the proper zoo. You can't find a monkey and a lion in the same cage. Things are in order. But here, it's more like a jungle. It's quite sad, but that is the reality. I do hope, I have that audacious hope and faith and believe that the youth of this country, whose future is being toyed with, I think will rise up one day. Because as I speak to you now, I think Dark Man case is coming up this morning, now in Lagos. I think Nigerian youths are really thinking and looking at the way that our elder statesmen are taking us for a ride, particularly touching the issue of law and the implementation of the law, how it is being unfairly used, how the law is being used for what it's not meant for. It's quite unfortunate.
Okay, thank you, Barrister, on that thought. But I wanted to ask you a question. there's a committee that has been set to monitor these ghost workers. And then in this Zamfara State, they actually came to the realization that, oh, this is how this staff, these civil servants have been operating. Is it that they have not noticed this all this while? Is it that they have not been taking census? They have not been taking, what do you call it? I'm trying to get the word. They have not been taking notice. They have not made notice about the situation that they have been ghost workers before now. Is it that they have not noticed this all this while, and then they've been paying salaries? Because I know that if you work in an organization, there should be a sense of reports. You should give reports of every service you render, like in the health and education sector. You should make attendance. Is it that they have not been noticing their absence all this while and they have been paying them salary? Or does it mean that the committee, what do you think? I wanted to get your thought. Does it mean that the committee have not been noticing the absence all this while?
You know, I'm laughing. It's a systemic problem. It's a systemic problem. I say this for lack of better qualification. I used to describe some of our political leaders as, I call them majority criminal-minded, self-imposed political opportunists. They do not have the country or the people at heart. Simplicity. The way Nigeria is being run, I asked them, if Nigeria were their company, would they employ the kind of characters in their person to run it? The answer will be no. But that's what they are doing. You know, we live in a system wherein people thrive on criminality. It's criminality that gives relevance to these so-called leaders. When you don't have anything to show, it's just like a bully. What gives importance to a bully is his ability to kind of force his will on others, not legitimate. So if he cannot do that, he's not recognized. So if you check our system, the system of government, you know, we have a system number one, a system of government wherein people go to share money that they don't work for. Nigerian economy is running on oil and gas. They have used unequal law to steal the oil and gas from their owners, and then, as they say, they go to share. Meanwhile, Nigeria is so stupendously blessed by God that there is no state that cannot on its own. Every state has mineral resources that they can mine effectively and use it to run their government and then pay a tax to the center. But no, that is not the case. So when I give you a practical example. Any money you don't work for don't last.
So what do you think can be a remedy to the situation of ghost workers?
Our leaders know. They benefit from it. You notice that as this say usually go that soldier come, soldier go, barrack remains. The civil servant remains. The present government that is coming in, it is even the civil servant that helps an incoming government on how to loot the system. This is how we usually run it. They give the clue, permanent secretary and all whatnot. They give direction. That's why for instance, if a commissioner is not there, you have a permanent secretary heading the ministry to take charge of affairs. So they know all the ins and outs. The moment, what we need to address is something that has got to do with the mind, the state of mind. When you talk about patriotism, it's got to do with the mind. Like the first question I fired, and I said, is Nigeria worth dying for? It's what you benefit from the country that can make you stand and defend the country and say, look, I'm ready to die for this country. This is my country. I'm a creative storyteller. I have lost quite a lot of jobs recently. At the point of conclusion, of course, it's a legitimate question to ask you, which country are you from at the international level? The moment Nigeria is mentioned, there's a particular guy who was very courageous enough. He sent me a message that his consultant said he should avoid Nigeria because of scam. That is how bad this thing is. So it is something that is systemic. But if we are desirous, it's just like the voting system. There is virtually nobody, as you are sitting here, you have a card with which you do transaction. You are not unaware of the fact that people can hack your card, hack the banking system.
Yeah.
But you trust it. So why can't we vote electronically? They know it. It is the process of carry the box, steal it, run with it. That is what gives them relevance. Until that system change,
Okay.
nothing is going to.